Okay, welcome back. And now we're going to look a little bit more at building. So we're going to go down into the workshop where we do the building. All right, so we're going to talk first real basics here. There's two tools, the add tool, delete tool. You get those really early on, and that's kind of one of your first things you do. So there's this other building menu over here. It's kind of important. The first one with just these lines is how you choose your materials. There's metals, woods, and stone at this point. Let's do something kind of simple here. I'm just going to choose some stone. Just do regular stone. I kind of like the polished granite. Okay, so I choose the polished granite. It's telling me that I have 246,000 units, right? Voxels, basically, is what it is. So if I then get the add tool out, right? So I've chosen the add tool. Right now I have a 1 voxel add tool, and that's what the 1 here basically is telling me is I need 1 unit to fill up the container I have now. If I make this bigger by scrolling the mouse wheel, it now becomes actually 3 by 3 by 3, which is 27 voxels in volume. Right? So if I place that down, boom, I lose 27 units of stone, and I just built this little nice nifty little square, cube rather. I can make them up to this size. Here's a big one. That's 1,700 units of stone. And the add tool has its companion, the delete tool, which pretty much does the same thing but an opposite. And if you've played Minecraft, I kind of think of these as sort of this is like Minecraft mode. You can just sort of delete your blocks, and you can make this kind of small too. So even just with these two tools, you can have a lot of fun. Control Z works to undo things if you. But I find these to be they're simple, but they're not how you really want to build most things. They're kind of nice for touch-up work or places where some of the other tools just don't work. Or if you just want to kind of mess around, like if you want to just sort of make some little, like a design on something. Make waffles or something, right? Something like that. The thing you really want to do to kind of build stuff is get and use the selection tool. And it's a little weird at first, but once you get the hang of it, this is your best friend. So the selection tool first allows you to select, and also you can do it in multiple sizes, but I almost always work at the single voxel size, and I'll show you why. So what I can do then is I can just sort of select some voxels. Right? You usually want to select just a few at a time, because you get these movement arrows, which is kind of cool. You can move the selection. So now I'm actually selecting air right now, or I can move it this way. But if you make it too small, you have a really hard time grabbing these corners, which are what you need in order to be able to really manipulate the shape of this of your selection. So I selected this. I've got 5 by 6 by 1 voxel deep, right? So I can actually grab this corner and I can pull it out like this into space, right? You can see it's sort of going into space. Then I can grab my add tool, click that box, and basically fill that selection, right? So once you get pretty good with the selection tool, you can do all kinds of cool stuff. You can grab the stuff, pull it this way, pull it out into the air, fill it, that kind of thing. All right, so really nice for building. You can sort of make these shapes, build them all over the place. You can also, though, once you can select something, you can copy it with Control C and paste it with Control V. And now, why am I not letting me paste right now? Oh, here we go. Acting a little weird there. So now I've copied this block, this 3 by 3 by 4 voxel block, and I can place it anywhere. Now, this is a little bit weird when you first start to use it, but there's some really good controls here that once you get the hang of, can really make this powerful. So do you notice there's these up and down arrows inside of the block right now? What that symbol is telling you is this is what will happen if you scroll the mouse wheel. So if I scroll the mouse wheel, for every sort of click of the mouse wheel, I go up 1 voxel, right? If I press tab, I can cycle through the 3 different axes, right? X, Y, whatever, and Z, okay? Now if I hit Shift tab, I get into rotate mode. Now this is just a block, so it's gonna, it only rotates in 90-degree increments, so you're really not going to see it rotate very much. But again, if I hit tab, I cycle through the 3 axes. Right now you can see it now you can see it flop a little bit as I rotate as I scroll the cursor, or the mouse wheel, excuse me. So, and shift tab gets me between those. So this is what really allows you to go, well, gosh, I want this box up on the wall, but you know, I don't want it sticking into the wall. And at first you start pasting things and they go half into the wall and do weird stuff. Then you realize that you can actually control it a bit better. You can pull it out a bit, just put it right up next to the wall and get it. Oops, see that? I did not get exactly where I wanted. I'll just undo. One more, move it in one more voxel, right, and I'm good. So again, let me just show you this. Hit tab to cycle through the different things, and usually it helps if you line it up with something. Like I want this on the floor against the wall, so I'm going to sort of push it into the wall a little bit to find out, oh gosh, it's actually quite far off the floor now, isn't it? Well, is that touching the floor? I'll usually sometimes even push it into the floor, count up however many voxels up or over or whatever, and then I can get it just where I want it to be. Yeah, I don't really want those things on my wall, so I just hit undo. Alright, now the one last thing to just show you is you can use the selection tool in combination with the smooth tool. Now the smooth tool works kind of wonky by itself. They're making it better, but for right now it's kind of just a semi-random sort of tool. So what I like to do is select some voxels, and then right now, again, with the current state of the tool, you have to give it some airspace. So you want like sort of this one voxel border around the area you're smoothing. Then you select your smooth tool and click, and it will and I can just keep clicking, and it just makes things really smooth. And now this wow, that really looks like waffle now. All right, okay. You're probably wondering, what's this band-aid down here? This is the heal tool, and what this does is actually returns the world to sort of the state it was before you started messing with it. All right, and now I press C to change it to a sphere, just so you can sort of see what happens when I do that. Hopefully it will let me undo this, what I've done to my house. So that just paints back the native land, right? Not really an undo, just the native land. There's also this line tool, which I honestly don't use very much because I find the selection tool to be kind of superior. But it will do things like you can click on one block. It's not behaving for me. Sort of stretch, make these arches and lines. You can get some kind of cool effects this way. But it's also a little bit sloppy looking on the edges, and I just don't really do it that much. So, well, that's about it for this little building tip tutorial thing. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.